laptops, and everyone is able to make a laptop a day, right? And so we have 100 laptop companies. And then some smart guy or smart gal comes along, right? So you talk to 5 other people in class and say, let's organize. We're going to start a laptop manufacturing factory here on this table. And you are going to take care of the processing, the graphical processing, central processing, and connection to memory. You're going to take care of the drive and the display case. You're going to take care of getting the ports linked up. And you're going to set it all in a chest. And I'm going to bring you coffee. Okay? So we've got everyone divided up. And 5 of you are able to manufacture 20 laptops a day. So all of a sudden, 5 of you have 20% of the market. And you've got 95 other people who get only 80% of the market, because they only do 1 laptop a day, and you've already stolen 20%, because you can sell your laptops cheaper, right? You're all taking, let's say you take twice as much wages as everybody else in the industry, you're still able to produce the laptops at a lower cost. So you can lower your price and get that 20% of the market. So the rest of you schmucks, right, you're stuck fighting it for 80% of the market. So you're forced to bring your price down because that's the only way to get your 1 laptop sold. But that means you're going to be earning less money, right? So there's like a logic built into the process as soon as someone comes up with it. But it's because she adopted the chain process, right? She's come up with this change in the process, and as a result, the size of her operation, her capacity, her economic scale is a significant fraction of the market, and it changes the whole dynamic of the market. So if you can come up with a way to cut men's hair in a chain, you could change all the, you can wipe out all the barbers in Ho Chi Minh City, put them all out of work, or put 90% out of the work, and the other 10% work for you, right? You become super rich. Those barbers make more money than they used to, and all the other barbers starve to death, or else they have to look for other work, right? So this is the dynamic of strategic change in the industry. And this is just one way, is by moving into this kind of production, you're changing the logic of the relationship between capacity for production and the size of the market. Now you can, once you have these, especially chain, less so processing, right? The chain, you can start conceiving of a chain across several countries. It doesn't have to be on a conveyor belt. So Bombardier could have their engines being manufactured in Pratt & Whitney, right? The wings being assembled in Ireland, other parts, fuselage, I don't know which country, right? And all these parts coming from different countries, assembled in Mirabel, and then sold to another country. So you have your chain in different countries. Okay. That's the afterward production. Okay, so location, we've seen that. All right, done. Okay, so business strategy. What's the purpose of business? To make money. Now, a business, somebody started a business for other reasons, right? They may be fed up with the lousy quality Windows computers that are not able to read others. It's actually just a piece of software that's necessary. Right? But I could not read my hard drive because it was formatted right, with a different system, and I couldn't read it. And if it was a difficult technical issue, maybe someone would start a company to solve that issue. But if he did, he still would have the discipline of making a profit. If he doesn't make a profit, he will disappear. Right? So that's what we mean when we say that the purpose of business is to make money. If you don't make money, you disappear, no matter what your intention is. Right? So, how do you make money? By having revenue greater than costs. Right? So, there are two kinds of business strategy. Low cost and high revenue. And we saw three things. First of all, we saw, third of all, actually, we saw you cannot pursue both at the same time. If you pursue both at the same time, then someone specializing in lower costs will beat you out on costs, and someone specializing in higher revenue will beat you out on the revenue. So you have to choose one or the other. Usually, there are some situations where it's not necessary. The example I gave you was the iPhone. iPhone goes for high revenue. The prices are very high, ridiculously high. And but they also have a big share of the market. So they have better economies of scale than a lot of the low-cost or low-priced manufacturers. Okay, but in general, you have to choose one or the other. So we look at both price and differentiation. When we look at price and cost, when we look at cost, we look at economies of scale. We saw how economies of scale are generated. And so the secret to cost is big capacity, which means you have to sell for your capacity. So you have to have a big market share. And we didn't go into that. There's a whole dynamic, right, of building up that market share. Okay. In terms of increasing your revenues, there are many ways. There's more than one way to do it, but the basic key way to give us great insight into strategy is differentiation. In other words, if I sell remote controls for air conditioners, well, I want the client to pay a higher price for my remote controls than for somebody else's remote controls. And why would someone pay a higher price for mine? Well, because mine are better, in their opinion. That is differentiation. It's a decision, it's the opinion of the market. Some people in the market are willing to pay more. Okay. So, that's what's taught as business strategy. And it's not all that insightful, right? You can make more money if your revenues are higher or if your costs are lower. Duh. There is the insight that it's hard to do both at the same time. But the reality is, how do you do that in every business? And the problem is, when you're teaching business, usually you're not teaching a specific industry, right? So you end up teaching these very general, vague ideas. And that's why the theory of business strategy is so, I can make more money if my prices are higher. Okay. How do we move that into the international arena? And I think you can answer that question. You could have, even before I gave that class, you could have answered it if you just stopped for a few minutes to think. So what's key to decreasing costs? Well, it's the production process. How can I produce more cheaply? Well, material materials are cheaper, if the energy items are cheaper, if the wages I'm paying are cheaper. And then how is this, you know, what does this mean internationally? Well, there's some countries where wages are higher and some where they're cheaper. There are some countries where there's lots of durian and other countries where there's no durian, right? So durian is a key ingredient. It's going to be cheaper to use durian to manufacture where there's durian. If you need petroleum, that's the main thing. Well, maybe you're better off in the Middle East where there's lots of cheap petroleum. So that's location has a big impact on cost. Now, some manufacturing involves many different stages. Right? And then you're going to start, well, I'll locate this process in that country and this process in another country, and I'm going to be shipping between the countries. But does that make sense? Or maybe what I should do is, rather than manufacture this myself, I should have a supplier in this country. And I own this stage here, and I buy from that supplier. It's still the example I think we saw last week. There's a big crisis in North America. It started in Canada, now it's moving into the United States. They don't have any boba for bubble tea because of this ship that was stuck in the Suez Canal. It seems there's a lot of boba in it, and so the little balls of tapioca. I mean, anyone can make it in their kitchen with tapioca starch, which is available in those toasters. But it seems there's a shortage of boba, and so all these tea shops and coffee shops in North America. Okay. So, costs we can reduce by location of our manufacturing process, different stages, different countries, or by choosing our suppliers in different countries. What about differentiation of product? Well, there are two aspects to that. One is, what defines differentiation? Is it the engineers who decide, or the clients? The clients decide. They decide by paying more money. So, you know, this is more beige and this is more gray in color. And you can say they're different. But if I couldn't care less about the color, then they're not differentiated. This controls the temperature of the room. This controls the projector. If I don't care about it, then it doesn't matter. But the engineer may say, oh, they're different. The customer decides. So, are all customers the same? No, everyone has different opinions, right? I mean, look at the clothing you're wearing now. There's so many factors that went into the choice of that clothing. Right? Part of it is peer pressure, what other people think of us. But part of it is our own preference. Part of it is cost. And part of it is, well, I like this, right? And people like different things. Now you can group people who like similar things together, and then you call them a sector. Actually, no, you don't call that a sector. Erase that. Something else. But you group those people together, and they may be making those similar choices about what is better because they're the same age, because they're the same sex, or because they come from a similar cultural background. Right? So it may be that the product which is differentiated for Vietnam is not differentiated in Germany. Preferences of people in Vietnam may not be the same as those in Germany. So what that means is, if you want to differentiate internationally, it may be different in different countries. So you have to do your market research and adapt your product to the local economy. That's first part.
Thì sắp nơi được.
Second part is when you're manufacturing your
Sẽ
product.
kèo ghi âm theo cái kịch bản của.
Well, maybe it's important where you manufacture.
Có gì không lại?
Maybe what people are really keen on in a laptop is the color gamut, right? Because all they do is they look at movies, or all they do is make videos for YouTube, or all they do is they design products for their clients, right? And for all these people, maybe color fidelity is very important. So maybe the most color faithful screens are manufactured in Japan. The most rapid response ones maybe are manufactured in Korea, right? So if you're selling to gamers, you want speech from Korea. If you're selling to designers, you want them from Japan. So again, once you have the differentiation criteria of marketing research, then you're going to start looking at the countries that can give the quality you want. Now, often, when your client is a consumer, they're not that technical. And what they think is, oh, it's manufactured in
Ít ra
Germany,
phải nên tao
it
còn
has
hơi
to
hiểu
work
hiểu
well.
chứ môn PA hồi đó tao
Or
không
it's
hiểu hết.
manufactured in
Tao toàn
Japan.
ghi chép không à. Đúng rồi,
The
tao cũng vậy.
technology is advanced. Or it's manufactured in China, I don't want anything to do with
Học
it.
online
Or it's manufactured in some other place, it's got some other thing in it, right? So that may be very fanciful, or it may be very
học online
accurate,
cái tao đâu có
but it
nghe.
doesn't matter, because they're the ones giving you the money, right? So you have to take that into account. Oh, I think we've covered that part there pretty well.
Thi hay kiểm tra gì tao cũng đem bài mẫu ra tao ghi chép vô.
That's very generic, right? But I want you to be able to do a little bit of that mental gymnastics to link up
Hồi
location,
đó tao ngủ
cost,
trễ,
and
tao đâu biết là có cái
with,
bài mẫu rồi. Chán thiệt. Sao?
with price.
Xong rồi đó
Okay.
học online tao còn mua
Then
kho
we
hero
move
nữa chị bày.
into, I spent perhaps too much time talking about business strategy.
Thằng Hiển nó đưa cho
Because
tao
for
link
the
rồi,
assignments
mấy
I
tao
wanted to do, I was much more interested in analyzing industries. And industry analysis basically is about how what is taught in business strategy courses. So I'm going to cover this and then we're going to take a break. During the break, I'm going to try to resolve my compatibility problems so I can show you some example questions. Okay, so
Cả anh em hồi miệng FML.
So I explain the economy like a river,
Like a river.
flowing down all our natural resources to the consumer, right?
Natural resources.
And all over here, you have all sorts of businesses. You've got fishermen and farmers, you've got mining companies, right? Extracting the natural resources. And then what they extract is being processed by other companies. And then whatever is processed is then made into different parts. Those parts are made into products, incorporated into products by other companies. And then these are sold to warehouses, and then warehouses sell to retail stores, and then the consumer buys them. Right? So there's a whole line of companies. In fact, it's not one single line, it's a whole web, right? A whole web. So the whole economy is very complex. And if your business is here, my business, and I'm not even going to put it on the line, I'm going to put it out here. Right? So this guy sells to this guy here, who sells to this company here, who sells to this company here, who sells to this company.
Sao mày
And
đam
goes
mê
back
quá
and
tao
they this, and then they sell it to me, and then I sell to this guy down here, who sells to someone here, who sells to someone there, and then it goes to the retail store,
một người đi ta một
client,
người
right?
đi ở nhà
So
ngủ
if I want to understand my
Không có nhu
business,
cầu trải nghiệm á.
I have to understand all of this
tao không
line
có nhu
here,
cầu
all of this down here.
coi
But
cái
then
ăn
this
ngủ.
guy, he's got all these other suppliers
Cuộc sống nhẹ nhàng có
who do business with all these people, right?
Tao không muốn
So,
tao không
in
muốn trải nghiệm
fact,
việc đấm nhau với trong câu
My
lạc bộ.
business is located in a huge web of the economy. And to understand my business, theoretically, I have to be God and understand everything.
Tao cũng không
But I'm not God.
không muốn đấm nhau với khách hàng.
I resemble it, no. I'm not God. I don't know everything, right?
Đúng vậy.
So what we want is a way to simplify. And what we do is we basically simplify to this. I just look at my company, my clients, and my suppliers. So what I have is, I call my company a vendor. I look at my clients, and I look at my supplier. And I'm simplifying this. Maybe I have 1,000 suppliers, 10 suppliers. Or not,
Chị nhóm Liên Thanh.
maybe I have 10 suppliers in 10 different industries, right? But I'm going to simplify
Làm
this.
gì nó mê
One
quỷ lắm.
supplier, one client, one industry. And that client can buy from me or can buy from any other
Hàng
number of
làm với quỷ nó dính nhau mọi
other vendors in the
mọi nhóm
industry.
luôn á.
Right?
Ờ,
So I'm saying with this,
mới cái nhóm này thôi không chung.
I've simplified the whole
Sao không đi
economy.
chung được? Tao mới tự chung
Because
nhưng mà
this
nó cũng
guy-
BL thế.
his behavior
Đi chung đi thôi không có cho chung nhóm.
is dependent upon here and then whoever he sells to.
Hai cái đó mới là
So he's got the
hai đứa dính nhau
information.
thì tâm nhất cái gì rồi.
His behavior's got all the information
Đi
downstream,
với nhau mọi người sắp muốn về một
and his behavior has all the information about upstream. It's not true, but sort of. Okay? So instead of being God and knowing about the whole economy,
Đừng trải nghiệm,
I just have to know about these guys,
đừng chơi ngu mà
about
trải
these
nghiệm.
guys,
Cái này
and
không
about
nên
these
trải
guys.
nghiệm về
And the first thing I find out about these guys is they have a
cái
choice
nội đầu. Thằng Nam có chữ không được sáng.
because they can buy substitute products.
Mày nói là
Right?
chữ
So at VinFast,
đó thẳng mặt.
you don't have to buy a car at school.
Nó chữ trong đầu là
You can buy a motorbike. You can buy a house across the street.
lúc bạn không đòi làm thơ phói với mà ai
You
sẽ làm
can
thơ
take
phói.
Grab, automobile, Grab, motorbike.
Nhưng
You can invest in
cái
shoes.
mà cái research mà trong
Which I
cái
did
mình đang nói là tại
until
sao
October,
là làm thơ
right?
phói. Rồi nó đúng không?
Now,
Chia trung bình là mỗi
way
người
further away
20%.
than I used to
Vẫn là
walk
chưa
to
được
school.
một nửa đâu, cho nên là
So there's all sorts of substitutes for buying a car. So I also have to have a notion of this. But the basic idea is this here. And so the first time you analyze the automobile industry,
hai cái bài
you didn't look at suppliers too much. I told you to, but in fact, you looked at the rivals in each country. You looked at the clients. We simplified, forget the dealers, just look at the consumers. And you look at the substitute products. Right? And we didn't talk about new entrants. That explains most strategy books. But VinFast is a new entrant, and new entrants have to overcome a barrier to entry. And the way they did that is by linking up with suppliers. But we're not there yet. So what we have on the left-hand side, whiteboard, is a simplification of the right-hand side. So I didn't ask you to do this. No, I didn't ask you to explain the whole economy of Malaysia. I asked you, explain to me the automobile industry in Malaysia. And the way you did that is you looked basically at these three things. Right? And those three things we have here, right? buyers, substitutes, and rivalry.
Ông Nam có ví dụ đâu?
Competitive rivalry is the rivalry between other businesses that make automobiles. Buyer power, big word, it's the clients, right? And throughout substitutions, well, you can walk, you can take Grab, go get, right? A few choices. And who are the other vendors?
Người ta vô đó ra
So you can take a look at that. I think I just gave you that text. I need it now.
chơi đi.
Oh yeah, of course. It's, otherwise I forgot.
Ê, cái tóc bạn hôm nay bị sao đó?
Bị rối.
Okay, that's the same text.
Có nhiều độ nóng á. Như vậy nè.
Okay.
Mày để xuống nữa.
And the next week, once you had the experience of analyzing the industry, of using this model of industry analysis, at least part of it, then I decided to introduce
Sinh nhật anh
the
Nam.
notion
Sinh nhật anh Nam là
of
rất
entry
buồn.
barrier.
Tết năm ngoái, đến Tết năm sau, Tết năm sau.
And to understand it, we had to talk about industry concentration.
Tết sinh nhật năm sau rồi.
So all the theory you learn in economics, classic economics, assumes that there's an infinite number of vendors and an infinite
Tao ngồi
number
tao
of
nghe
clients.
1 phút rồi tao chán.
And then
Tao
after
tập trung. Tao bị
you
mất
do
tập trung.
monopoly theory and oligopoly theory.
Nhưng mà ngồi tua.
But the reality
Nhà
is,
ngồi tua.
a big portion of any economy involves, well, oligopolies, but numerous oligopolies. Like instead of having 3 firms, you have 20 or something like that. So, in spite of this theory of classic economics of infinite number of vendors and
FDI trên
purchasers,
display.
what we have is a modest number of vendors, 10, 20, 30. So why? Why does this happen? And we looked at examples of a few industries. So one explanation is scale. The minimum economic scale compared to the size of the market. Now, an aside here. Minimum economic scale mostly depends upon the machines in your factory. Right? Because the machines, each machine has its capacity of process, right? And if they're in a chain, and there's one of each machine, then the flow of the chain will be limited by the slowest machine. So the answer to that, you take the slowest machine and you get 2 of it, right? So as soon as you have 2 of that machine, the next limit is the next slowest machine. And you get 2 of that. And then it goes back to being the first one, right? So what I'm telling you is the different machines have their capacity for production. Theoretically, when you work out the mathematics or the arithmetic of the capacity of each machine, you decide you're going to get 8 of this machine, 4 of this machine, 7 of that machine, right? And so the economic scale is going to be so much, right? That's what generates the economy of scale. There are a few other factors involving logistics. That's the key one. But the machines are manufactured by other companies. And they're constantly putting out different models from year to year. So the capacity of each machine is changing from year to year. And on top of that, those machines, right, they're being maintained by engineers in the factory. And those engineers are always changing things and adjusting things and making it go a little bit faster all the time. So on paper, we have this economic scale, right? But that scale is constantly changing because all the machines in the factory are being tuned all the time. Some are getting old and slow down, others they're improving. And so the relationship between the machines is changing and the capacity of the factory is changing. And on top of that, every year new machines are coming out